ongoing development is kind of the natural destination. Even if it started greenfield or if it started with a legacy modernization objective, it's going to fall into ongoing development. And that's natural if you're applying the Agile values and principles, because you can only plan within a certain horizon when you start this initiative, and then you learn as you go and are planning the next step as you go. And it's just a rhythm of learning and planning, learning and planning. And that's fine. That's what normally happens. It's the natural rhythm. And this is another reason why implementing all of the advancements in Agile and DevOps are so important, because they include, and the community that sprouted up around it and the learning over the last 20 years, they include proven engineering methods for keeping the quality high and operating the software in a stable fashion and accelerating the pace of software development over time. So if we're drifting into ongoing development, what are software projects? And the interesting thing is the concept of a project is becoming a thing of the past. Regular ongoing development is now the norm. Software teams that are funded and they just continue working, and then priorities are just funneled into the team. That's now the norm. For the longest time, software features and capabilities, they were requested by batching a lot of them together and then funding a quote software project. And of course, we've seen how has that worked. 39% absolute success rate. Now, when you look at the small projects, you have a 60% success rate. Fantastic. So the construct of a project, it really hasn't gained us much. It doesn't have a good track record. And with Agile infrastructure, that is DevOps, and elastic cloud environments, the actual need for that construct, that project construct, is less and less. And the Standish Group has published the poor track records for projects that have the role of project manager leading them versus projects that did not have that role. And the epilogue of the 2020 chaos report from Standish, it kind of gave us some forward-looking trend predictions. One of them is what they call infinite flow period. And I call it just ongoing. Everybody calls it ongoing development, but they named it infinite flow period, where development is just going to be ongoing. The prediction, because it's kind of already come to pass, is that projects will be so small as to kind of go away. And the role of a formal project manager is less and less. No actual project budgets, no actual project plans, just a budget for the cost of the development team and the server infrastructure, a cost for the pipeline, and then you funnel in requests, funnel in features into that team, into that process. And I believe that the proper construct in this environment is to stream to the development team a feature order, like an order for a feature, rather than a project, because then by definition, we're just executing a string of small project, small project, small project, small project, which have higher success rates. If you look at your software teams, I bet you'll find that this is already happening in many of them. Some of the new big initiatives have projects, or what's the project budget? What's the project team? Okay, it's going to be for this period of time. But many teams already they're just working. They're just working. And you ask stuff of them. And they are doing ongoing development work with software users, customers, and the like. And they're naturally drifting towards this because it's a more natural way of working. Whereas I think our industry is finding out that this construct of a project, as much effort as we put into it to define the notion of a project, was just hard in the first place. It didn't really work, and it hasn't given us the outcomes that we wanted. It hasn't given us the success rate that we need. And more, the industry has abandoned the notion of a software project. And we use the word project out of habit, but it's not really that we're defining projects anymore. It's another word for initiative and some type of goals. And so instead of resisting this change, consider its alignment with the industry stats.